Hi guys, this is Fernando doing another video for more survivalists. In this case, a very quick pocket EDC update, also an excuse to talk about some other stuff as well. First of all, wallets, east pack, same as always with the cards, and a little pocket here for coins. Coins are useful, for vending machines, for parking. Always have a few coins in there if you can. Also emergency cash when something goes down bad and the grid goes down and the system goes down. Usually cash is king, and it's the only way of buying goods and services. So always have 100, 200 extra bucks in there for emergencies. And if you end up using those because of you came up with a great deal and used that cash for it, replace it. Always have 100, 200 extra bucks in there. While we're talking about money and such, the options in terms of banking. You may be watching 100 videos on YouTube about knives, gun reviews and such, and that's all very visually appealing, but there's stuff that isn't that interesting to talk about, at least, and it's certainly not interesting in terms of video and footage and such, but it is very, very important as well. I'm sure that 90% of you guys watching this are interested to some degree in survival and preparedness. If not, you wouldn't be watching my channel and my videos. But I'm also very sure that 90% of you guys don't have an offshore bank account, right? And that is one of the most important assets you can have. An offshore bank account gives you the option of, if things get really bad, moving some of your assets from one place to another. And I'm not talking about fortune. I'm not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm talking about normal, savings that any guy has. But if it's frozen in your account, even if it's $1,000, $5,000, doesn't matter. As little or as much as you may have, the key word is having options, right? If you have an HSBC bank account in your country and that country goes down, it's pretty much done for. When it happened in Argentina, they froze our bank accounts and they're not letting you access that money. But if you have, even within the same company, HSBC, and you have an offshore bank account in Singapore, for example, and you transfer some funds from one of your accounts to the other, that's off the system of that country, and it's being protected in spite of being within the same name brand of the bank. It's the same bank, but it's not in that country's system anymore. So it is one of those things that it's certainly underappreciated and not talked about enough. Very important in terms of options, financially speaking. It's not that difficult. Go online, Google it up, and see how easy it is. Maybe it takes a little bit more of time and effort, but the key word is that it can be done. Any person can open an offshore bank account, and it is something that you should look into. Moving on, shades, Wiley X revolvers. Going through my pockets and such. Wiley X, same as before, still doing its thing and working well for me. Phone, old iPhone of mine with the OtterBox Defender case is pretty much bomb-proof. A word here about the phones and such. I wanted the Samsung Galaxy S3, and I was about to buy it. Then I realized how stupid it was to get into payments, paying for 1 or 2 years for a phone. Doesn't matter how little it is. You say, well, it's just 20, 30 bucks and such, but the idea of being in debt and always having that thing of, it's like a mini mortgage for a phone doesn't make much sense. Thankfully, I realized I was becoming one of those targets that marketing companies go for, and thankfully I decided not to get it. In just a few months later, the phone is already selling for half the price used online. And once the iPhone 5 comes up, it's going to be selling for 1/3 of the money. So my advice here very quickly would be that if you see something that you like in terms of technology, a phone or something like that, give it a couple of months. Give it 3-4 months and such, and you will see that the price drops pretty fast. And once the novelty sensation runs out, it's selling for a lot less money, and you're saving quite a bit of money. And it's still a piece of technology that's going to be working for you for 2-3 years at very least. You don't have to buy always the latest thing that comes out. Moving on, UK knife, the Boker Model 42. Within its limitations, a good knife. No complaints there. I also have another knife, the GAC German Army knife, which I've reviewed here, of course. It's a nice knife. It's one of the biggest Victorinox knives there is. Big enough for anything that you would want a pocket knife for. Also has a nice, very nice saw tool here, protected by this folded metal. It's a pretty nice piece of, there's the teeth there visible. It's nice because it has great reach, which is something that I often criticize from many of these multi-tools and such. It has a nice reach because of that. Here in the screwdriver, I actually used a bottle opener for a beer yesterday. Good knife, I like having it with me. Lighter, same as before, the Jeep lighter with Gorilla Tape wrapped around it. That comes in handy many times. Hank of Liros Magic Technora. I was with a friend of mine that came to visit from Argentina. He's a hunter, and he was telling me as we were walking here visiting, doing the tourist thing with our families. He was telling me, you know, you have to get Technora because it's much better than 550 paracord because it's so light and small, and you always have it with you and such. And as he was talking, I pulled it from my pocket and showed it to him, and he said, "Ah, yeah, you already knew about it." And it's funny how people that have the same mentality, we end up coming to the same results and thinking in similar ways. You know, just interesting. What else? Trying to do things as quickly as possible. Car keys, same as before. Honda CR-V. I have to do a video as of why I chose this particular vehicle, the Honda CR-V. It's not a decision that it just came just like that. Also, well, saddleback leather, keychain thingy, and the Volker Vox titanium pry bar. I have it here in my car keys because it has a glass breaker, and in case of an emergency you have to break the glass of the windows of your vehicle. It makes sense to know that it's always there in your car keys, your ignition keys. So that's why I have it here with me. Moving on. The keys I always have, you know, Phoenix LDO1. Use a single AAA battery, Pico mini pry bar, titanium peanut lighter. Something else I have to do a video on, these keys. These are bump proof keys, which is something that you really should look into. Bumping is something that is done very easily by even the most amateur guy in terms of lock picking. Victorinox Mini Champ, great little tool with the midnight light there. And finally, this would be something new, the Iron Key. The Iron Key USB. This is one of the most secure USBs there is. Iron Key and also the Victorinox secure USBs, those are great as well. They have the fingerprint detection in case of, even if they cut off your finger, it has some sort of technology that it still tells if it's from a dead finger or not, which is kind of awkward. But really, this is one of the things that I mentioned in one of my videos, that if I had to leave a country right away and, you know, just leave as soon as possible, you know, I would need the plane ticket or whatever transportation method that I'm using, the money to do so, the passport to leave the borders, and the USB with all your important information in terms of work, scans from your birth certificates, your insurance stuff, the insurance video of your home and such, all that stuff, all that important stuff has to be here in this USB. Now the problem with that is that so sensible information that you just don't want it in an average USB drive, so that if it falls in the wrong hands, anyone has access to that. So the key to that for me is having it in an extremely secure USB drive, and this would be it. The Iron Key USB drive has a password that cannot be hacked. You know, even by the most expert guys, you know, they cannot hack into it. It's that kind of technology. It's used by the military. It is extremely hard, even impossible to some degree, to hack into it. You know, unless you have extremely huge resources, no one is going to be hacking into this. Victorinox, I understand, is also very, very good as well, and that may be an option as well. Maybe it's smaller, and in that case would be an option for someone that doesn't want something this big, which is kind of bulky. But if that's not that much of a problem, Iron Key is great. If not, look into the Victorinox secure USB drives. Quickly looking into what I have left: pockets, some loose change coins in there. What else? And finally 4/7 Quark Mini 123 flashlight, same as before. 3 modes, 3 hidden modes, low, medium, high, 200 maximum output. Uses one CR123A battery. The only thing I changed here is adding a little bit of more visible yellow cordage. You know, this makes it more visible. Being black as it is, it's easier to lose. So adding this little bit of cord, and also has this reflective strips in there as well, which do work very well. So that's basically it. That's, guys, the Pocket EDC as of today, and a little bit of conversation about other things as well. Guys, if you're liking this video, as I always say, consider subscribing. Take care, have a great weekend, and see you on our next video.